Hi, Gehl here, and I want to welcome you to this video series. I've created this video series, this lesson series, 4 lessons for a really important reason. And before we get into that, I want to share that with you. You know, over the last 16, 17 years, I've had the privilege, the opportunity to work with countless people around the world, helping start and grow businesses on the internet. I've personally started, grown, sold, consulted with numerous multi-million-dollar businesses. And I've met incredible entrepreneurs all over the world. And through my journey, through my experience, you know, I've boiled it down to really 4 critical skills. If you want to be successful on the internet, if you want to go from where you are today to building a successful business on the internet, you need to master these 4 skills, okay? Or at least know what they are so you can bring people who have mastery within those skills to work with you, all right? So what I want to do in this video and the following 3 videos is reveal those skills to you. And these skills, I want them to become your foundation, your framework, so that as you move forward and start to build your business on the internet, you're armed with the right information to succeed. And the reason this is important is because, you know, when people start out, you know, they're like, hey, I'd like to start an internet business. And people go to Google and they type in how to make money online or business ideas or internet business. And you start looking around and maybe you go over to the warrior forums or the different resources out there where entrepreneurs congregate online and talk about internet business. And the unfortunate part is these places are littered with what I call get-rich-quick scams, business opportunities that are, you know, they look great on paper, but they just don't deliver, all right? And so when I look at all the really successful entrepreneurs, the people that started with where maybe you are today, you know, they started with nothing and have now built incredible businesses, life-changing incomes on the internet, they all share these 4 skills. And so what we're going to do over the next today and over the coming 3 days is we're going to share those with you. I'm going to share those with you so that you know what those skills are. And you can now move forward, and I'm going to give you real resources, tools, places you can go to start learning these things so that you now have the right framework, the right foundation to get started. So, without further ado, let's jump into critical success skill number 1. And, you know, this is probably, in my opinion, the hands down most important skill you need to master. Because if you don't master this, well, becoming a successful entrepreneur will be very, very difficult. And what I'm talking about here is what I call the entrepreneurial mindset, okay? And what is an entrepreneurial mindset? Well, the fact is we've been taught all our lives to think like employees. Our education, our school system, how we were raised by our parents have taught us to think in such a way, have educated us in such a way that we're growing up to be programmed to be good employees, to go to university, to go to college, to get a job, and to work for somebody else, whether it be government, whether it be a private, public corporation, whatever that is, but to be a good employee and to think like an employee. And the fact of the matter is how an entrepreneur thinks and how an employee thinks are just about polar opposites. So today, if you're coming from the background of going up through our regular education system just about anywhere in the world, going to school, going to college, going to university, getting a job, working for somebody else, you need to really shift how you think, okay? And the fact is old habits die hard. And, you know, people ask me, well, you know, aren't some people just naturally entrepreneurial? And yeah, there are people that are naturally entrepreneurial, but you know, particularly over the last decade or so, there's been so much research done into what makes entrepreneurs successful, what makes that personality type work and successful as an entrepreneur, that once you understand what the traits are, what this mindset is, you can learn it. Once you learn it and you make a conscious effort to adjust that mindset, well, I think you can become a successful entrepreneur. And the reason I know this to be fact is because I've seen people do it over and over and over, transitioning from employee to now thinking like an entrepreneur. And so what I want to do in this lesson is I want to take you from thinking like an employee to thinking like an entrepreneur. And to do that, what we need to do is break down what the heck is an entrepreneurial mindset. So what I've done is I've broken this down into a list of traits, okay? So these are, what we're going to do now is I'm going to go through the traits that entrepreneurs share, the mindset that they share. And now once you know what these are, if you make a conscious effort to adjust your mindset as you move forward and start thinking the right way, your chance of success goes up massively. Okay, so let's jump in here. All right. Which brings us to trait number 1. Okay, so we have 6 traits that we're going to go through here today. And trait number 1 is probably one of the most important traits. And that trait is not afraid to fail. The reason why most people never take that step to becoming a successful entrepreneur, to starting your own business, whether it be online, offline, anywhere. And you know, something I should be clear about here, these traits apply online or offline, okay? These are relatively general. My future lessons, we're going to be talking about pretty specific stuff on the internet, but today we're talking about general entrepreneurial traits. Now, trait number 1, not afraid to fail. Now, what that means to me is this. Entrepreneurs think a little bit differently in the sense that for us, risk equals potential. We're not afraid to take calculated risks to get a calculated return. Now, unfortunately, most people are raised to grow up, get an education, get a job, and become secure. And the fact is I've never met an entrepreneur that wasn't willing to take a little bit of risk along the way. Now, here's the beauty of the internet, though, is relative to just about any other business you could start out there, the risk of starting a business on the internet is tiny compared to most other opportunities you could go after. Well, let's stop for a second and talk about a retail store. Maybe you decide, hey, I want to open a retail store, a clothing store in my local mall. Is there a risk to that? Absolutely. You have to buy inventory, you have to hire staff, you have to lease space in the mall. You can be a few $100,000 in before you even open your doors. But the internet allows us to go out and test ideas and try stuff very quickly and very fast for a very low cost. You know, as we go through our training and lessons, what you'll learn is setting up and testing ideas is not expensive. It shouldn't take long, which brings me to my next point under trait number 1, and that is fail small and fail fast. And here's the thing. Failure isn't a negative word in my mind. And you need to shift. If failure is a negative word in your mind, you need to shift your definition of failure. Because as an entrepreneur, we all have failures. We've all failed probably more times than we'd care to admit to. But the fact is we don't fail big, okay? We don't fail slow. We fail small, we fail fast. What I mean by that is as you're building your business on the internet, your websites shouldn't take 6 months to a year and tens of thousands of dollars to build. You should be able to take an idea, get a website up very, very quickly, test it, get some traffic, dirt cheap, try it, make sure that it works before you go big. Okay, so the beauty of the internet here is, again, you can test small, you can test fast. You can know if things are going to work before you've invested a ton of time and a ton of money to scale it up. So you need to shift that mindset. If you're always afraid of failure, That fear is going to paralyze you from moving forward. Okay, so trait number one, entrepreneurs aren't afraid to fail. But when we fail small. And it's never a failure, because if I try something and it doesn't work, I actually learn something that I'm now going to apply to the next thing I do, which is going to substantially increase my chance of success. So we need to shift how we think about failure, which now brings us to trait number two. Focus. You know, the internet is great because we have access to all this information, all this stuff at the click of a button. And that's awesome. But as much as it can be a benefit, it's a massive hurdle because there's distraction everywhere. So, as an entrepreneur, you need to make sure that you are focusing, that you are setting specific measurable goals for yourself and holding yourself accountable to those. One of the key reasons I see people start a business online and fail is because they start something here and think, oh, this is a great idea. I got an email on this new hot thing and I'm going to try it over here. And then the next day they get another email and they're like, oh, I'm going to try that. And they're doing a dozen different things and they're not getting anywhere on any of them. So, as you move forward through this process of creating wealth online, creating a business online, you need to set yourself up in an environment where you pick something, you focus on it, you see it through, and you eliminate distraction. And another important point here is to do what matters. You know, every single day, week, month, year, I sit down and I set my goals. What are the things that I need to achieve this year? What are my top things that I'm going to do this year to move my business forward? Then, every single quarter, I say, what are the top things I'm going to do this year to move my business forward? Then I ask myself every month, what are the top 5, 6, 3 things I need to do this month? And I set measurable goals. They're not vague goals. Here's what I'm going to accomplish. And then every single day, I ask myself, am I doing what matters to achieve these goals? Because too often we can get pulled into working on the stuff that is not actually affecting our business in a positive way. Rather, we feel good because it feels like we're getting stuff done, but is it really achieving these goals? So you need to set yourself up so that you are focused. And finally, make sure you avoid the shiny objects, because as you do business on the internet, as you subscribe to all sorts of different lists, you are going to be inundated with stuff, with emails, with, hey, here's the new way to, make $1,000 a month guaranteed on Facebook. Here's the new Google traffic hack. Here's the new hot product on Amazon. And all of these are going to sound so good because they're written by these great copywriters and these great marketers, and they'll suck you in. But next thing you know, you're sacrificing progress on what matters to go after these shiny objects. And ultimately, you never end up getting anywhere. So, as an entrepreneur, specifically online, because it's so easy to get distracted, you need to set yourself up to focus. Which now brings us to trait number 3 of the successful entrepreneurial mindset, and that's passion. The fact is if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to do something and create something, you want to enjoy it. If you absolutely hate getting up every morning and working on your business because it's not something you're even remotely interested in, the chance of your success goes down massively. It's not like the job. We've all had the job that we hated. Back in my college and high school years, I had those jobs I hated. But you know what? You went because there was somebody there holding you accountable to go and do that job to collect your paycheck. This is where we shift from employee mentality to entrepreneur mentality. Because nobody's going to hold you accountable to say, hey, you need to sit down at your computer today and create this sales page or write this offer or call this person to negotiate a deal or buy this ad. Nobody's going to tell you to do that. You have to do that on your own. And if you hate what you're doing, the likelihood of you actually doing it are pretty slim. It's human nature. So you want to, it's very simple, do what you love. Find something that you're passionate about and do what you love. And, maybe your first idea isn't your absolute passion, but take action, start doing something with your ultimate goal to find something you're passionate about. And you know what? I've met people that have said to me, you know what? I'm just passionate about internet marketing and making money. And you could give them anything to sell online and they'd be passionate about it because they love the process. If that's you, fantastic. If that's not you, find something that you're passionate about, something you believe in. Because at the end of the day, when you believe in something, when you're passionate about something, that comes through in your marketing, that comes through in your messaging. I'm passionate about helping entrepreneurs. That's why I started this website. I want to help entrepreneurs. I love working with entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are some of the funnest, most creative people in the world. And I've been blessed to be able to work with so many incredible people over my career. And I'm super passionate about that. I believe entrepreneurs drive the economy. Entrepreneurs are the answer to so many of the problems we face in this world today. And so that is my passion. I love doing that. And that's what you need to find, something that you're truly passionate about, which brings us to trait number 4 of 6. And that is lifelong learner or lifelong learning. I have never ever met a successful entrepreneur that started their first business, kicked back, and quit learning, and was still in business 5 years from then. The fact is as an entrepreneur, particularly on the internet, you always need to be learning. And to do this, you need to be prepared to invest in you. You need to be prepared to invest in your knowledge, in your learning, and to constantly be growing, evolving, and learning what it is you need to do to take your business to the next level. And there's a few key things that I have always subscribed to in my life that has always really helped me succeed. One is, you know what? I always want to be the dumbest person in the room. And I know that might sound a little strange, but naturally some people are attracted. They want to be the smartest person. They want everybody to look up to them. And that's great. But personally, you want to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, people that have achieved what you want to achieve. You want to find mentors. And then when you find those mentors, people that already know what you need to know to get to the next level, now you need to listen. You need to listen to them. What are they doing? How are they successful? The fastest way to become successful is to simply model success. Don't reinvent the wheel. Find people that already have achieved the goals that you want to achieve. And then find ways to invest in yourself, to learn from them. Surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, and then listen. And you'll be shocked at how quickly you grow as a person, you grow as an entrepreneur, and you grow your business and your wealth. So, never quit learning. The minute you quit learning is the minute the competition leaves you behind and what you have created disappears. And, there's lots of free information out there on the internet, but what I have learned is those who try and just sift through all the free stuff out there, figure out what's right, what's wrong, typically spin their wheels. Find the people the real people that have already achieved what you want to achieve and find a way to invest in them, to learn from them. And don't get me wrong, I'm not setting you up here to say, hey, I have a course. That's not what this is about. This whole video series is no strings attached, okay? What I'm trying to share with you is the mindset. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly investing in training from experts that I want to learn from. And that has obviously done well for me. I've created numerous multi-million-dollar businesses, and I want you to do the same thing. Which brings us to trait number 5 of 6. And trait number 5 of 6 is this. Play to your strengths. We all have strengths. We all have weaknesses. And what I've learned over my career and what I've seen consistently through other successful entrepreneurs is, rather than trying to constantly improve our weaknesses, we look for ways to play to our strengths and then outsource our weaknesses, okay? So, the beauty of the internet today is much of what you need to do in an internet business, you can instantly, easily go out and tap in to incredible talent pools of people all over the world for a fraction of the cost, in many cases, of what it would cost you to hire somebody locally to do much of what it is you need to do building your business online. With sites like Upwork.com, which used to be Odesk, you can go in there and hire talented writers, videographers, graphic designers, programmers, developers, artists, experts, administrative assistants, on and on and on. Anything that can be delivered virtually, you can hire people to do for a shockingly low amount of money. So when I see people who have a great talent in a specific area, but they're spending their time trying to learn web design so they can build a single website, that doesn't make any sense to me. You want to find ways to outsource this, to leverage other people that already have those strengths, or to leverage technology so that you can play to your strengths and not play to your weaknesses, which is absolutely crucial. Which brings us to our last trait, trait number 6, take action. You know, I can't tell you over my career how many people come up to me and say, hey, you know, I love what you're doing. I've always wanted to start an internet business. I've been looking at it for 2 years, 5 years, 3 years. I bought your first course back 10 years ago. I subscribed to your newsletter 7 years ago. I haven't done anything yet, but I'm going to. The fact is until you take action, nothing is ever going to happen. So, even if you don't have your golden idea today, even if you don't have something that you're absolutely passionate about, that's okay. Take action. Start building something. Pick a niche that you know has demand. Grab an idea, set up a website, set up a blog, start blogging to a specific market. Sign up for some affiliate programs. Start taking action, because what I know to be true is this: action creates opportunity. If you sit back on your arse and wait for a magical idea to pop into your head, 5 years is going to pass and you're going to be like, I never got that idea. Well, I might as well just stay at my job. Alternatively, if you start creating stuff online, building a website, creating a blog, doing something, doing affiliate marketing, moving down that path, as you move through those steps, those actions are going to reveal other opportunities that you would have never seen if you just sat there on your couch, flipping through the channels, waiting for a magical idea to pop into your head. So, action creates opportunity. And Here's the other massive mistake that I constantly see people making on a regular basis that massively prevents success is perfectionists. You know, I hear people that say to me, oh, I'm such a perfectionist. And they think, wow, that's a great quality to have. As an entrepreneur, being a perfectionist is actually not a great quality. And the reason why is it typically will prevent action. What I mean by this is I see this all the time. People say, hey, I've got this product I'm working on. It's still not ready. I need to add this. I need to do that. Or my website's almost ready to launch, but I've got to tweak this. I've got to do that. But it never gets out there. The fact is it doesn't need to be perfect. If you're a perfectionist, you need to take that part of your brain and turn it off entirely. And now, get something out there. When you put up a website, if it's not perfect, that's okay. If it's got the information people need, if it's got the products people want, get it out there, start driving traffic. Let the people tell you what they want and improve it from there. You know, it's funny, some of the best websites I've come across that make a ton of money are still some of the ugliest websites. You don't need fancy graphics and fancy designers. In fact, that's probably, in the greater scope of skills, not the most important thing you need. And we're going to talk about that in the future videos. But my point is take action. Action creates opportunity. Shut off the perfectionist. Just get something out there. If you don't have that brilliant idea right now, you don't have that thing that you're super passionate about yet, find something. Just get started. That process of learning is going to create opportunity. And before you know it, you're going to go from, well, I'm not really sure what I want to do, to, I've got so many ideas. And I know this to be fact because I see it happen over and over and over. When I teach people how to go out there and uncover ideas and start building stuff, all of a sudden they go from no ideas to tons of ideas. And that brings us to our next video. And in our next lesson, which you're going to be receiving in 24 hours from now, we're going to show you how to start finding those hot products, okay? Now that we've covered the mindset, the 6 traits that you need to embed in your brain, you know, write them down, print them out on a wall, check back with those, say, hey, am I living these traits? Am I implementing those into my brain, into my life, into my business? Once you've done that, then it's time to start looking for our products. And what is a hot product on the internet? What is a hot idea? Where do we come up with those? And that's going to be answered for you in the 24 hours from now. So keep an eye on your inbox for that email. It's going to have a link to that video. And we'll see you in the next lesson.